And we are live. Hi, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining me on my YouTube channel. This is Royce at Royce in the House YouTube channel, where we now have 272 videos for you to watch at any time you'd like, spread across multiple playlists. This is our live podcast playlist. We normally air on Sunday, but tonight we're airing on Saturday because I'm going to the Jason Bonham concert tomorrow night. Hey, Novice Nick, thanks for joining me, buddy. Can you hear me? Oh, God.
Ah,
Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick, you're live. Can you hear me? Okay, I want to say hi to my good friend,
well,
Steve
there
Mitt.
goes one of your bud. Good
Oh, good,
golly.
good. You're springing to life here. Well, Steve Midtham just joined
What
us, my good
the
friend.
heck
Steve.
am
Hi,
I
Steve. How are you,
spaz?
buddy? Let me just say hi real quick before we go on here.
Ah,
I don't know how many people we're going to have tonight simply because I always go Sunday night at 6:30. Well, tomorrow we're going to see Jason Bonham an evening with Led Zeppelin, his show, and we're very excited about that. So that's why we moved it to Saturday so we could still do a show. But I'm hoping a lot of people got the message. Hey, look, Caitlin Stoddard joined us, Kate's Magical Corner. Please, everybody, check out her channel. You're going to love it. James Watson's here. Nick Pantazia's here. Jeff Davidson's here. Laurel Rossman. Hi, how are you all? I tell you what, I'm going to put another link up. And if anybody that's here wants to join me and just come on the panel and interact with us up here, everybody watching at this moment is more than welcome. Okay. And Novice Nick, I really appreciate you joining. Okay.
hello, my friend. Good to see you here.
Yeah, and it's good to see you, brother. Okay, folks, I just put a link up. Laurel and Nick, Steve, anybody, Kate, Jeff Davidson. You haven't been on in a long time. You used to come on all the time. You were a regular for a while. Okay. So anyway, hi everybody. Okay, so tonight it'll be a little hard for me to interact with the chat until I get through with my opening monologue. But really appreciate everybody being here. I'm really excited tonight. As you can see behind me, I have two of my favorite musicians of all time, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. I've been a Led Zeppelin fan since I heard them for the first time when I was in high school, and nothing's changed since. They're still number one with me. Okay, I absolutely love Led Zeppelin. I have all their studio albums and several other things. You know, I have a Mothership. I have my song remains the same box set sitting here. Anyway, so we'll get into this and start going through it. Okay, Led Zeppelin and the soundtrack and for the movie, the song remains the same. Okay, is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And filmed in 1973, 3 nights at Madison Square Garden in New York. It was recorded and filmed there, and not released though until 1976, about 3 years later before it was even released. So that took a while to get that out, but it was the concert shows Led Zeppelin at their absolute pinnacle of hard rocking glory. I mean, they were just absolutely amazing. Let me adjust my camera just a little bit. I just want to be sitting a little higher on the screen. Okay, their absolute hard rocking glory. In addition to featuring such amazing hits as Dazed and Confused, Whole Lotta Love, Stairway to Heaven, all three of those songs I absolutely love, plus so many others. The live footage is interspersed with elaborate fantasy sequences. Now, I watched that movie today. You can go on YouTube, type it in, Led Zeppelin, song remains the same, full movie, and you can watch the full movie for free. Okay. And you do have to put up with a few commercials, but it's not bad. You put up with commercials. Hey, there you go. Right on. What version is that? Or
OG.
oh, original pressing. Oh my
Bought it when
God.
it first came out, and I love it. It's played and played, but it's not wore out.
Oh, good. It looks like the original shrink wrap too. So okay, so the footage, as I was saying, is interspersed with elaborate fantasy sequences. Not to mention backstage shenanigans and a glimpse of what the business side of such a large scale tour was. Okay, so let's see. So he just showed that. I'm going to show. I have a box set here. There's 4 albums in here.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, so that's a box set. I didn't know it wasn't just an individual
Yeah,
album.
see, there
Oh,
you go.
okay. Okay, great.
Oh yeah.
That's an original. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe comparing some of the soundtracks, on different sides, I can finally determine what mine is. I think mine might be somewhere between 2007 and 2018, but I can't really line up my track list with anything so far, so I can't really say for sure. Could be older than that. Okay,
I,
so the film. Go ahead.
no, it's mixed by Kevin Shirley, previously
Yeah,
unreleased.
yeah, right,
And it's
right.
and
Kevin
it's
Shirley.
funny. I don't mean to get sidetracked, but last time I was on your show, I was asked about the Dark Side of the Moon quad that I had just won, and it
Oh,
just came.
okay.
It just came in the mail today, and
Oh, great.
that's what I was spinning before I came up. So I had to turn
Okay.
all that off because you got to get your priorities straight. Being
You
here
got
with
to get your
Royce,
priorities straight.
being here
Absolutely.
with Royce is a priority.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's good to see you here, buddy.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so there's a film, though, is much more than just a movie of Led Zeppelin in concert.
yeah.
It is a rare series of glimpses into the vision and symbolism of the men who made this music. Okay, feeling a long-held desire to express themselves cinematically in a cinematic setting, really. But each band member and manager Peter Grant, I'm sorry, was like the fifth member of the band. He was just an awesome manager, and he really took care of these guys. Okay, they all contributed their own fantasy sequences to the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I watched it today for the very first time, and I really enjoyed the movie, and I really enjoyed listening to the music and watching the performances too. Because one of the biggest tragedies of my life, there are bigger, but I never got to see them live, and it kills me. I will go to see Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, tomorrow night in concert with an evening with Led Zeppelin is what he calls it. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why the show's on today. But anyway, I'll put one more link up real quick here, and that way, if anybody else would like to pop in, anybody in the chat is welcome to join us. Okay, and there's another link up as we speak. Okay. So, all right. So Peter Grant and the 4 members of the band all contributed their own fantasy sequences to the film. And for the first time, one can see the actual images in Jimmy Page's mind during Dazed and Confused. Okay. You'll see the life breathed into Stairway to Heaven. It would be impossible to detail these things here. The band has never really discussed their concepts or reasons. Now it's easy to see why, because they were in such fantasy land so much of the time. Okay, it has been quite a ride since their first album was released in 1968. I was in high school. I was a junior in high school. The first album was released. I always heard it was 69, but maybe it was just right before 69 because Led Zeppelin 2 was also released in 69. And just blockbusters. And I think 3 came along in 1970, Led Zeppelin 3. Okay, the band has never really discussed, like I was saying, their concepts, resulting in, why it's been quite a ride since their first album was released in 68. It was actually where I left off. Led Zeppelin made several more albums, resulting in ever-increasing legions of followers whose loyalty can only be described as staggering. Staggering, Nick. I fit into that
Yeah.
group. My loyalty to Led Zeppelin is staggering. I
They
love that band.
rewrote the rules
Oh my God.
to
They re
touring, to dealing with managers, record labels. They just wrote the rules. They said, "We
well
don't
that's
care what the rules were. These are the new rules."
that's exactly right. That's exactly,
Yep.
there a lot of bands came along that I considered game changers, like when Creedence Clearwater, hit the scene, and the Cream. Oh, I lost my mind. Those were game changers for me. I ran down and bought both eight tracks almost as soon as I heard them. I just put an 8 track in my
But
50.
Led Zeppelin was industry changing.
Oh,
Th-
no,
That
yeah, no, they were beyond. Yeah, this was
yeah.
the biggest game changer of all right
Yeah,
here
it
in Led
wasn't
Zeppelin.
just the music.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of
right.
great musicians. This changed the world of
Yeah,
music, the business
right.
of music.
Exactly. Okay, so now their first adventure into cinema. The song remains the same as cinematic proof that I missed it all while, living the reflection of their music. They neither forgot or denied their original premise, their roots. Okay. Um, so anyway, I was going to bring up one song in particular, "Stairway to Heaven," and why there was a controversy surrounding it. Well, Led Zeppelin had done some shows with the band Spirit, which was a great band, a great late '60s band, and they had a song named Taurus. Okay, and so Led Zeppelin was getting sued in 2014 by the estate of the late Randy California, who was actually the guitarist of the band. Okay, California's estate claimed that "Stairway to Heaven" was plagiarized from Spirit's song in '68, Taurus, as I just mentioned. The case was eventually dismissed, but it sparked a debate surrounding the copyright status. Okay, and there's actually a little bit more to the story. Overview: the recording of the album. Okay, hold on. A little bit more to the story here was that the case the fact that Zeppelin had performed on the same bill with Spirit, that's where they decided. And I have heard the song. I've kind of A-B'd them myself. And you know what? There's you could make a little bit of a case that there's some similarities to that opening, the opening riffs for Stairway to Heaven, where he works his way down the neck, and that plays throughout the song. But it wasn't the same. You could just as easily make a case that they had nothing to do with each other. Maybe they got the idea for that kind of playing. What's a technical name for that kind of playing? You're playing a chord, but you're playing it one string at a time. And maybe they hadn't done something like that before. Maybe they got an idea that, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's try that. But it wasn't anywhere near the same. Okay, so Led Zeppelin performed on the same bill with Spirit in 1970, leading the American act to believe that Page and Company had access to the song. The case finally came to court May 2016. The judgment ruled that Stairway to Heaven was not intrinsically similar to Taurus. So that put an end to that. Okay. Okay. So let's see. We've got Jeff Davidson and Caitlin, James Watson, Nick Pantazzi, Laurel Rossman. God, good to see you guys. I was concerned because, there's not a real good forum to let everybody know that you've changed the night you're going to be on. I've been on Sunday at 6:30 forever. All you get is that 30-minute notice before the show in YouTube that the show's coming on. So, and I ran a little ad for it in Facebook as well. But you don't know how many people are going to see that. And so the recording of the album and film, let's see, where were we here? Oh, yeah. Well, over 3 nights at Madison Square Garden, which we already mentioned, but we didn't mention that it was during the band's 1973 North American tour. All songs were recorded by Eddie Kramer using the Wally Heider Mobile studio truck, and later mixed at Electric Lady Studios in New York and Trident Studios in London. I visited Trident Studios in London. We found it really kind of an obscure looking place, but it had the sign Trident, big metal sign, round sign hanging, and some stuff in the window about some of the people that had recorded there and stuff like that. It was actually closed when we were there, but we were in London about 3-4 years ago, and we were kind of visiting touring rock and roll type sites. Jordan the Lion was with us, and we wound up in an alley where it's believed that Bob Dylan filmed the first ever rock video in that alley. He was trying to prove that the song he had done didn't have foul language. People couldn't really understand what he's saying. They thought there was foul language in it. So he stood in that alley with these Subterranean Blues, Homesick Subterranean Blues. He stood in that alley with these great big placards with like 3 or 4 words written on each one. And as
Yeah.
the song was singing, he tossed the placards.
Yeah.
And we stood in that same alley. And I swear to you, the same kind of construction was going on in the same places it was back then. It looked identical. And we were actually filming the alley while Jordan held up the song playing and Bob Dylan throwing the placards. And we
nice.
visited a bunch of other stuff too. And it was a lot of fun. Okay. So anyway, so the sleeve design depicts a dilapidated movie house on Old Street Film Studios in London, where the group rehearsed for their '73 tour. Um, so I'm gonna be showing my stuff here in just a moment, my little bit, okay, okay, until the album and the film were remastered and re-released in 2007, they had featured different soundtrack lists, right? They didn't jive, okay? In addition, some of the recordings, excuse me, featured on the album were of different performances from those in the film, okay? And I've heard that little complaint. It's kind of confusing. But I'll tell you what, I watched it today and I have no complaints whatsoever. I can't wait to watch it again. Okay, some of the tracks recorded at the Madison Square Garden concerts were omitted from both the film and the soundtrack album, such as "Over the Hills and Far Away," "Misty Mountain Hop," "The Ocean," and "Thank You."
Yeah,
The surviving band members oversaw the remixing and remastering of the original release, and the song remains the same. Soundtrack was reissued on CD in 2007. Okay, and this coincided with the re-release of the film, released on DVD, a Blu-ray DVD. The new version of the soundtrack included 6 songs that were not on the original album release. Okay, you have the original, right, Nick?
Yes.
Okay, so then yours wouldn't include Black Dog, Over the Hills and Far Away, Misty Mountain Hop, Since I've Been Loving You, The Ocean, or Heartbreaker. Let me know if that's the case. Plus the liner notes by Cameron Crowe. This brochure I have in my box set is got a liner note, 24 pages, and on half the pages or so, there's liner notes by Cameron Crowe, and they're really good. I highly recommend them. Okay, so that was a 2007 re-release. Okay, now here we have 2018 reissue, and on September 17th, 2018, remastered edition of "Song Remains the Same" was issued in multiple formats, okay, including a multi-disc super deluxe box set, excuse me, Blu-ray audio with high resolution stereo and new 5.1 surround mix, 180 gram vinyl, which is what I have in my box here, CD streaming and downloads, including a 24-bit 96K high resolution audio files, concludes the campaign of reissues on this set of their live album and deluxe editions of their studio albums that started in 2014. So there was a run from 2014 to 2018 where they really stepped it up in 2018 with some new technology. Upon its release in '76, the album received some mixed reviews, okay, with a number of critics considering it to be overproduced and kind of lumbering. Indeed, the band's members themselves have since expressed a lack of fondness for the recording in '76. Page, that was released in '76, recorded in '73. Page has admitted the end product was not the best representation of Led Zeppelin as a live band, okay? So in contrast, the 2007 reissued version received generally much more positive reviews, published in Mojo, in a review published in Mojo magazine, December 2007. James McNair gave the album 4 out of 5 stars, as did David Cavanaugh in Uncut magazine. And David Cavanaugh wrote, "The sound is vastly improved, as is the playing of the musicians due to digital re-editing of the 3 MSG concerts, presumably. Not so much remastered as reconstructed. The 15 tracks, 6 previously unreleased, Showboat, Strut, and Snarl." Now, I want to ask you, Nick, were you able to confirm any of that, or did I read the tracks all too quickly?
Now, I was reconfirming what I had, and
Okay,
the original was a 2 LP set, not a 4.
a
Uh,
two.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is the 4. I have the 2000. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2008. The 1976 is the 2 up on the shelf back there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
then you had all those songs I mentioned that were missing
right. Yeah,
on
this
the
is the
2007.
2008,
Yeah, okay. Well,
and
that's
yeah,
cool.
because
But you have the other one
I'd
as
have to
well.
go
That's
dig up
awesome.
the 1976.
Okay, yeah. So it was Black Dog. I'll read them again. Black Dog, Over the Hills and Far Away, Misty
Yeah,
Mountain Hop, Since I've Been Loving You, The Ocean Heart and Heartbreaker. Plus the liner notes were finally added. Okay,
right.
so with the 2007 re-release of both the album and the film, the songs were now synchronized so that the full track list was not only on the film but on the album. Okay, with each song mixed the same way. Kevin Shirley, who you mentioned, Nick, who worked on How the West Was Won, was involved in the remixing.
I need
Okay.
that one if anybody has an extra copy. If you can give
Okay.
that or not. Yeah, here's the
No, yeah.
pristine book. I think I've looked through it once or twice. It's crisp. It's beautiful artwork.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful artwork. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
catch up on a little bit of the chat here right now before I go ahead and show what I brought with me.
Do it.
Madison, did you know that? Thanks, Nick. Pixies are a pretty good brand. Okay. Nick, I don't want to take credit
Yes,
if
sir.
it's due, laughing out loud. I'll take
Oh,
I don't want to take credit if it isn't due. Okay. Thank you, Nick. I remember seeing Song at the local theater when it came out after that weird psychedelic segment. Oh, I remember that. I had taken some substances when I knew I hadn't. He thought he'd taken some substances. He knew he
if
hadn't.
you
How
went to the
funny.
concert, you were taking substances. You just didn't know it, whether you was willing or not.
Yeah, we won't judge you. We were taking them too. I was maybe 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Caitlin Stoddard, interesting. Man of Many Voices. I have the movie, but I've never owned the vinyl. Okay.
I'm gonna see if
Okay.
I can real quick dig
Yeah.
up that 76.
Yeah, I'm going to be yeah. Very nice, novice. Okay. All right, we got some of the chatters up here. Some of the chatters on the screen. I love it when I get to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I have my copy here, which says I got to move slowly because my screen pixelates with the green screen I have behind this this picture behind me. I have to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, it does come with this wonderful 24-page booklet, and I mean it is great too. There's so many pictures, stories. It like I said, it's pixelating because of the screen. I've got to kind of hold things low to make this work. It's either that or pause and pull the green screen out of the back and anyway, this is really a fun booklet, and we've got the albums here. And the funny thing is, I didn't buy this new, Nick. I bought this. Okay, is that your older one?
Yep.
The 76.
Yeah. Look.
Okay, well I'll tell you
it's a
what.
little beat up.
I bought this of all places, a sports store where you go buy jerseys and sports hats and autographed baseballs. Okay, rock and roll celebration day. Song remains the same. Let's see. Let me take a quick look at the back of this. Okay, so side one, you've got rock and roll. Give me 1 second. I'm almost caught up. Okay, got rock and roll. I have rock and roll celebration day, but then I go to Black Dog and Over the Hills and Far Away on this one. So mine's going to be different. But what I do want to look at real quick while you have that up is instead of my fourth album of my box set, when I got home, I discovered I had, I believe, the original album. And you have the original album there?
Yeah. This.
Okay,
This
so
is a
okay,
two,
so let me
two
compare this now. I have Side 1, Rock and Roll, Celebration Day.
There we go.
The song remains the same, and the Rain Song. Okay, okay. Side 2, I have Dazed and Confused. Side 3, No Quarter, Stairway to Heaven. No Quarter, Stair. Okay, so what this is, Nick? This is not the 4th album that should have been in my box set, but this is what they meant when they put on the cover. They put on the cover right here. What that says is the song remains the same, and Led Zeppelin's original copy. So I've got 3 of the 4 that are supposed to be in the box set, but they threw in the 76 original copy
Really?
as the 4th album, because the 4th album apparently had disappeared, got damaged or something like that. So now I have an original pressing of that.
Well, that's a great
Well, that's kind of
mix-up.
exciting. That might even be better than the 4th one here. Okay, so that's cool. And I have the other 3 albums, of course, that are in the box set. They're all here.
This is the 76 pressing.
Yeah, and that's what this is that I was just showing. The 76 pressing. And these are all on the heavyweight 180 gram vinyl. I mean, these are heavy. And boy, does it get any better than the Swan Song label. I love that label.
Got lots of them. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. I really like that label. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Oh, yeah.
I won't take the time to put all this away right now.
Right.
I want to get back to the chat and start our.
Those boxes are hard to get back in there.
Yeah, you really eat up the time. I want to welcome everybody here, and I want to get back to the chat. Let me see. Let me pick a spot here. We'll start right there. Movie, but you never had the vinyl. Yeah, we did get to see that earlier, and I just have the vinyl, the box set, and the missing disc or album 4. But then I have the 76 original pressing of the album, which is a 2 album set. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah. You know, like I said, I bought this at a sports store. I was really surprised. I was going to go in there and look for a hat or something. Yeah, sports store. They have all the jerseys, the hats. They sell baseball stuff. And I walked into the back, and here's like an 8-foot rack of vinyl. You know, I'm like, what the hell? You know, and I saw.
I live in a record desert, and I would not have any. When I go back to the sports stores, I find gun and ammo.
Right.
Not records.
Not records. No. Where do you live exactly?
I live in the middle of the state of Louisiana, and it's I think we have the biggest parish in the state, and it has 145,000 people. So
okay,
the closest city of significance would be Lafayette, and that's 4 hours away. So I'm literally in a record desert.
Record desert.
Yeah, Walmart and Target aren't places you go digging for records.
Okay.
So it's the kindness of the VC and their auctions and kindness that supply me with quality records most of the time.
Okay. Well, I take it you're a big Led Zeppelin fan, like I am.
I think.
Do you have most or all their studio albums?
I have 22. I have 22 in my collection.
Oh, and yeah, that's a lot.
I need the let's see, the unofficial release of the Blu-ray, which hasn't been around a long time, and the How the West Was Won.
Okay, cool.
Yep, yeah, I just got Mothership. Somehow one of my moves, I lost Motherships, and I just got it's a repress digital. But yeah, matter of fact, I just dropped the video on it yesterday.
Yeah, I have the Mothership, but it's CD, not vinyl.
Okay.
Which I was at I can't remember where I was, but I was looking at all the vinyl, and
we know
things are like $27 for an album, and 30 something for a double album. And I looked down below me, and the CDs were down there, and here's like the Mothership for like $9,
Oh, gee, easy.
Something
grab.
like that. Yeah. So I just had to grab that,
Yeah, I haven't cataloged my CDs and looked back at what I have.
Yeah. I really wanted it in vinyl.
Right.
It was downtown. A used version was downtown. It was 100 and something,
Yeah.
And then there was a Jimi Hendrix 8 album set at the same place.
Yeah.
And every time I went in there, they were still there. And I was, I really wanted to buy both. One day I walked in and the mothership was gone. And I immediately bought the Jimi Hendrix 8 album set.
Right. Yeah. Don't you? That'll make you move.
Yeah, that'll motivate you,
Yeah, I'll get it later. I'll get it later. I'll get it. Oh, it's gone.
Right. Yeah. You put it off for too long, and that's what happens. So anyway, I've got my stuff here. Maybe someday I'll come across that 4th album. I don't know, but I am happy to have the '76 original pressing. That's pretty cool
nice.
too. Yeah. So anyway, I've got all the studio albums. I've got the mothership. I've got a bunch on CD, even some CD box set with 4 albums and a booklet in it. That's actually album sized. That's how big it is, and the booklet's that big too. And I think it has 30-something pages in it. And I've had so many over the years. I mean, we're going back to like 69-ish, starting with 8 tracks, then moving to maybe a few cassettes, and then CDs, and then back to vinyl now with some CDs as well.
Yeah,
so
a bunch of my 8 tracks and a couple boxes, good sized boxes.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah. Well, I was gifted about, it's been 5 or 6 months now. Yeah, 160 CDs,
I know.
And I had so much good stuff in there. There was Led Zeppelin, there was Jimi Hendrix, there was a few Beatles things.
Yeah.
There was 6 or 7 Pink Floyds, including Dark Side, The Wall. And then there was a couple that were just somebody made them, And I've done that too. I used to sometimes, whenever I got my CD, the first thing I would do is burn a copy, and then save the original. And now most of the originals are gone. I don't know what happened to them. I used to have one of those carousel that held CDs and DVDs. And you could put 400 in there. Right, you had to keep track of your track list. You knew where things were. Or you'd be pulling them out one at a time to look at them. Yeah, finally it broke. And so seemed like my CDs kind of so many of them went away after that.
Yeah, mine aren't organized.
Metamorphosis version.
The only ones I have in my listening room are the multi-channel tracks, CDs. And
okay.
I mean, I rarely even listen to those anymore.
Yeah.
But
I've been listening to it. Well, I've had a long drive lately. I'm working on a house. We're actually the real estate listing agents on it, my wife and I. But they got the termite report done, and there was a whole bunch of damage that needed to be repaired. So I said, wow, I'll do it. So I'm up there working on that. And it's about a 45-minute drive from where I live each way. So I've been going through so many CDs lately, and I think right now I've got a Rolling Stones 62 through 68 or something like that, with all those great old songs, Time Is on My Side, and oh my God. And I've gone through that now about 4 times, and it's still in my CD player.
Yeah. That's one thing I miss. My other car had a 6 CD changer, and unfortunately it got wrecked, and new vehicle doesn't have a CD player at all.
Oh,
I know
okay.
you can stream and all that, but I live in the country, so towers are spotty.
Yeah, so you're going to be losing contact. But yeah, no, I have a CD player in all 3 of our vehicles. One of them, the van is an older van. It has an actual cassette player and a CD player.
Oh,
in it. Wow!
There you go.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that.
Living large.
Yeah, living large, right? I don't even have a cassette, so I don't know what I would do with that. But every once in a while, you see something they're practically giving it away, cassettes.
Yeah, now there's a market for them again. There's some bands that are actually releasing some stuff on cassettes.
I've heard that. Man of Many Voices is asking if the mothership is worth getting, and I think it is. We're starting to get some overlap with these compilations and stuff. but I like every one of them, and they're all a little bit different.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
nice
gonna,
to
I'm gonna move,
change
let you
up the
guys,
order from what you're used to.
yeah, move back, let you guys see that screen a little bit better.
Yeah, I love that screen.
Well, hey, let me do the solo thing here for a second. Maybe it'll be better. Yeah, well, it's about as good as I can get it.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
that's a
not.
great
It's
band,
not.
the three of you. I
Yeah, it does
remember you from
pixelate.
back in the 70s, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody knew Peter Grant, of course. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Let's see. Let's see. That's the one we usually like right there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Led
I
Zeppelin.
like the mothership.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. So I'm going to go see tomorrow night. I'm going to Vina Robles Amphitheater, where a little over a year I saw Alice Cooper. And it's a nice small venue. There's no such thing as a bad seat there. And I'm really looking forward to it. I bought these tickets a couple of months ago to see Led Zeppelin, not Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham's son.
Yeah, he's
They
great.
call it Jason Bonham, An Evening with Led Zeppelin. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Nice.
So that should be fun. And
Hey,
I'm really bummed. Back when they made that album Celebration Day, and Jason Bonham, sat in for his dad who had passed away.
sure.
I think everybody was anticipating a tour at that point with him,
Yeah,
and
I
and
did.
yeah, yeah, and
I
I
was
think
hoping.
I think Robert Plant wasn't going to do it. Robert Plant and John Bonham went back a long ways.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
both from the same area in England, and they'd played in
Hmm.
other bands together. In fact, Birmingham was where all the guys from Black Sabbath were from as well. Ozzy and Geezer Butler and Bill Ward and
Okay.
let's see, Ozzy, Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, and Tony Iommi, of course. But
Yeah.
anyway, they all knew John Bonham, and they all knew uh, who I did a little video. I don't know if you've seen it. It was called Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin: The Lost Jam Session, and there were stories in there about, well, first of all, how the bands and it wasn't really a live, but it did have a live chat. It was only like an 18-minute video, but pre-recorded, and it gave a little history on Led Zeppelin, gave a little history on John Bonham, and I found out just how well they all knew John Bonham, the whole Black Sabbath. And John Bonham used to go to their shows, and where they were playing, he'd want to sit in on Bill Ward's drum set, and they told him he could one time. Well, Iommi told him he could,
Yeah.
and he sat down on it, and they said he just wrecked it because he's playing so hard. You know
Yeah.
how he plays. I mean, he's just a wild man. Uh,
Hmm.
but in my opinion, the best drummer ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm listening to Led Zeppelin, honestly, I've listened to it so many times now that sometimes I'll just try to focus on just what the drums are doing, or
Right.
just what the bass is doing, or
Yep.
Jimmy Page, or and I'll try to separate songs like that sometimes and just try to focus on a certain instrument.
Yeah.
So his drumming is
Re-examine the
just,
music.
yeah, his drumming is so
It's fun.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But he wrecked Bill Ward's drum set. After that, he'd come along and want to know if he could give it a go, and Ward would always say no. You know?
Yeah.
But there's some great stories. They were all great friends, and John Bonham was leading the way to the Lost Jam Session. It was he got everybody but Jimmy Page. He got to the studio
Yeah.
with Black Sabbath, and it was recording, but no one at this point knows what happened to the recordings.
Mm.
But it's a fun video to watch. It's only like 18 minutes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I have it under what I call a new playlist called Up Close and Personal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The
Yeah.
time is a rare factor in most all of our worlds.
Most all of our worlds. Oh
Yeah.
man, I tell you. My wife said, "Wasn't it kind of nice to do your show on Saturday? Then you got a full day off before you go back to work." And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna have to think about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I already promised her I was going to do a 4-day work week, and I did that once or twice, unless I didn't have any work. And
Right.
then I got back to work in 5 days, and I really need to get back to that 4-day work week, right?
Yeah.
So
It'd be
anyhow,
nice. It, that doesn't. I don't see that happening in the restaurant anytime soon.
yeah. Well, this is an interesting and sad comment here from Eric about Plant and Bonham. I read that when Plant's child died, Bonham rode back with him on the long plane
Yeah.
ride back home. Yeah, yeah, they were good friends, and I think Plant actually no, yeah, I think Plant nixed the Celebration Day tour because without John, his buddy, they just weren't going to do it. They were playing in a band together when they were approached by Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones to kind of check them out for what was going to be, well, what started out as the New Yardbirds and later
Yeah.
became Led Zeppelin. But and they had their own band, the two of them together already. And anyway, Tony Iommi tells a lot of great stories about John Bonham and why he was fired from so many bands and stuff.
Well, he liked
Talk
to
about
party.
characters. I'm going to be doing let everybody know, I'm going to be doing a pre-recorded show. It should be out this week. I just got to get it done one of these evenings or wee hours. And it's going to be about actually Tony Iommi and John Bonham. It'll probably only be 8 to 10 minutes long, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, Nick, let's see. Last time we talked, have you been doing any shows on your channel yet, Novice Nick?
No shows. Like I said, I came across an unboxing that I had done almost a I don't know, year ago, just about. I said, well, I need to post something. I still haven't had time to learn editing and all that. So I said, well,
Yeah.
I got as far as getting it off of my phone and onto YouTube. So I thought that was an accomplishment because
That
it's
is an
not
accomplishment.
that intuitive, especially, and everybody, most people I know have PCs, and
Right,
I'm
right,
using iOS.
right,
So it's like, hey, can you help me? I'm like, I don't know what you're doing.
right, right.
In my
Yeah, no, there's a lot to learn.
yeah,
It's like they told me to put a green screen up, and these backgrounds wouldn't, my hands wouldn't disappear when I hold them up,
right. And
and stuff like that. So I've got this extensive green screen behind me that we ordered. It got a tripod on either end, and then we
right,
ordered the green backdrop, which is used specifically for podcasting and other things like that. Just
sure,
shows. And I still having some issues.
yep.
It's like
You move there, and it's
I just
gone.
I just lost an
Yep.
arm.
Ah!
I just lost half of an arm. Okay, so that's kind of bumming me out a little bit
Well,
that's
that's
not working
we've all
just right.
lost our minds, so that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it also could be my router is pretty old, and I do plug in directly to it. I haven't routed it through the attic yet. I unroll 50 feet
Right.
of cable every time I
Yeah.
do a show, and then roll it back up.
Well, it could be processor power too. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I need to upgrade my router and see if that helps. And I also have a good friend, Dan McNew, and he's really good with all this stuff. He's got green screens and always has some cool background going and stuff like that. He used to be my regular co-host, and then he had some medical thing he had to deal with,
Yeah.
and he's not ready to come back yet. I'm hoping he does come back. Dan's a good dude. He does a hell of a variety of things. Everything from the total eclipses, and his film was the one with the space shuttle that blew up.
Oh,
That everybody remembers seeing.
yeah.
Over and over again. He
Yeah.
filmed that, and
Wow.
he let the networks have it. He probably kicks himself now
Yeah.
because probably could have sold it to him or something. Hey, Todd Pattison, that's my nephew, Todd Pattison
Oh, yeah.
Masquerade, and green screens. Ugh.
Yeah.
maybe we need to talk later. Todd is a tremendous musician, and he plays all the instruments on everything he does, and he's constantly just posting a cool song that he did
Oh, nice.
on YouTube. So if you get a chance, check out Todd Pattison Masquerade. He's really got a great style. He's been told lots of times that he sounds a little bit like Pink Floyd, and he's really good at just mastering the whole thing too, not just playing, but putting it all together. Okay, the lights get too hot for me to use a green screen properly. So that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm supposed to have bright lights shining on the green screen, Todd. Is that the thing?
Or on you.
I do remember, yeah. I do remember seeing those come as a kit with the two, the
Yeah.
two tripods, the pole across the top, the green material, and two big lights So I need to find out more about that, Todd. The big lights, and yeah, they would get hot, but they'd be great in the wintertime. I hope you can get your arms back. They're back. They're back.
It's
Oh
a
wait. Okay, man, I feel like a freaking zombie sitting here, Eric.
Yeah, I need heat in the room. I just crank up my audio system. The tubes do the rest.
Oh, you got a tube audio system.
Yeah, my
I
tube
got a
got two
tube
channel.
amplifier back here, but
Yeah, I have dual mono blocks for the 2 channel, and my preamp's a tube, so it can get
okay.
warm in here during the summer.
Hey, look at that. We have Zep Pearl. I bet you Zep
Hey,
Pearl's got something to say about the song Remains the Same. Zep, if you'd like, I'm going to put a link up. And you're more than welcome to join us and talk a little bit about the album and movie song Remains the
yeah.
Same.
Somebody had asked about
Yeah,
the mothership.
there's a link if you'd like to join us.
And,
Love to have you on. Hey Nick, Zep Pearl saying, "Hey Nick."
hey, good to see you. Come on up.
Caitlin, hi Zep. Everybody loves Zep.
Oh,
Zep's
yeah.
been really fired his show up lately, and it's been very entertaining.
Nice.
Very entertaining. Everybody needs to go check out my good buddy Zep Pearl. His name is actually Vance. I didn't know that for months, but now I do. It's Vance.
Yeah, it's funny. He just like
Enough light so there is no shadow. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. So, okay, so the lights have to shine on me so I don't have shadows, right?
Right.
Because if I move my head, you'll start to see that screen get a little weird back there.
Yeah.
You know. But I'll move over for a minute because I want you guys to see the two real stars of the show back there. Jimmy Page with that amazing double neck.
Yeah.
And Robert Plant, the best front man in all of rock and roll as far as I'm concerned. Light enough so there's no shadow. Okay. I wonder if my
wasted on the young.
right. New York City apartments do have special screens. Obviously, that apartment didn't for some reason. Okay. Something about the nanny turned her back for a moment or something. Okay.
Okay.
And there's the link if anybody would like to jump on for a little bit. We're actually where it's okay. We're coming up 10 minutes from our typical hour show. So
somebody had asked about the mothership, and the copy I have is a reissue from 2007, and it's a they're using the 96 kilohertz 24-bit masters on 4 180 gram LPs featuring, plus a 20-page booklet, and
right.
I think it sounds great. The lineup's good. The book's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I think is well worth it.
Oh yeah.
It's
who is the co-host? Royce. I do believe I see those tubes over his right shoulder. This is Novice Nick.
Yeah.
Novice Nick.
They were lit up. They have a nice red glow. Oh, let's see. This room I have 4, 8, 10, 12, 14 tubes in my system.
Oh wow.
Yes.
It's a lot of tubes.
Yeah, I don't need a lot of heat during the winter. Just fire up the audio system.
Right.
KT 120s. So there's 4 in each monoblock.
So this is an interesting comment. We could talk about this for a minute. Okay, Man of Many Voices, one of our great contributors here. Enjoy having him on. Royce, I think that Plant would have competition with both Mick Jagger and Roger Daltrey from The Who. I 100% agree with that, Manav. I would say for sure with Mick Jagger. Who I would put ahead? I've had that Jagger, I've had that Stones CD in for a couple of weeks now. Early Stones. And I can't take anything away from. I just did a little pre-recorded show on Hackneyed Diamonds, the new album that's supposed to be released October 20th. And I'm looking forward to good things. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit if that doesn't go to number one. If it doesn't, it'll be because I don't know, either Oh, here we go. Hold on. Hey, Vance.
Hey, Vance.
Oh,
Vance,
you
my
doing?
brother. Good to see you, man.
you too, man. I just kind of logged on and saw the topic there. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
well,
no,
I
that,
gotta say
that
hello.
that's awesome. You know, I had my 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 screen is weird, kind of pixelating. I got to get a little further back and hold it low. My 4 album box set. The funny thing about it was the fourth album in my used box set wound up being the original pressing from '76 of the album, 2 album
Oh,
set.
really?
Yeah, so I'm missing what would have been the fourth album of the the soundtrack.
Yeah. Is that the box set that was released a few years back? The four album
That's
with
that.
the
Well,
bonus,
you know
the
what?
bonus songs.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I spent
Okay.
a fair amount of time today um, looking at it. I mean, I've got this original pressing, the
Right.
double album set here, and that was like below all the others, which were the typical 180 gram vinyl. And pardon me, the 76. Yeah, released in 76. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, so Zepp, I know you've got something to show when it comes to this album.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just recently got this just before I went on break. I went on vacation there.
Oh, okay.
This is the. Let me dig it out. It's still kind of packed up. I have the. I found the Japanese program for the film.
Oh,
nice.
no
This is
kidding.
it was like that they gave out at the theater, believe it or not.
Sweet.
There's a replica, I think, of this in that box set. If you got the 4 album box set, I'm thinking of.
Not the
there might be
Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there is. It's right on top. It's like 24 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
okay. So this is
And
this
it's
is
got the what's his name, Crow, his liner notes too, going all the way through.
no. I'm in the other
Okay.
box set. There's a duplicate. But
Gotcha.
this is a legit old school one.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
I also picked up the movie poster from Japan.
Oh, no kidding.
And I'll see if I can unfold. I recently got this, and this has obviously been put up in a theater and stuff like that, and that's how they came out where they were folded. So this
Well,
is
oh wow.
the movie poster you'd see in Japan
Nice.
Yeah.
for advertising the film.
Yeah.
So when you had that, I said I literally got these like just before I went on
Well,
vacation.
let me ask you: is there a
days.
special site you go to, Vance, where they have the Japanese pressings of all this? Because I know that there's tons of them for the Beatles and stuff too.
I don't know of a special site. I just come across Led
Okay.
Zeppelin stuff, whether it be eBay or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
Nothing. There are probably sites out there. There are bootleg sites and stuff like that. They're hard to find because they don't advertise much, or they'll change things around. You gotta know somebody to get the new passwords or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I missed the show, so I don't know what you guys started off talking about.
Well, I just read through kind of how it all got started in '73 and then finally released in '76, and you know how the movies interspersed with the fantasies of the 4 band members as well as Peter Grant's fantasies, like the fifth
early
member.
music videos.
Early music videos. Yeah, and I watched it today for the first time. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, really? So you never saw it before?
I'd never seen it before. Not the whole thing. I seen a little bit, but
yeah, because you'll see the live clips pop up on things. Yeah, it's I'm really curious what you thought, because a lot of people just or either love it or hate it. So
well, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, those were those pins for when they put out the remasters.
Yeah.
I got a couple sets of those
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
James Watson's really challenging me on my best front man. Are you comparing him to Peter Noon?
The way that he listed them.
That's great. Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it. Actually, pardon me.
I like when you had the first posting. I think they were listed properly. Plant, Jagger, and Daltrey in that order.
Yeah. Well, I just there's something about Robert Plant's style. It was so unique. It was like nothing before or since, I think. And yeah, I just really liked it. I mean, you really had to sometimes pay attention to what was being said, but that's so many people.
Well, it Plant's lyrics too, and some songs you can't really figure out what he's saying. So
right.
No, I know. Yeah,
that's and there's bands like that with all over. So hey, Randy. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I mean, you realize that you might know this already too. That the film went through two directors as well. So a lot of live sequences were done by one director, and the other one came in because they weren't happy with what was going on, and that's one reason it delayed the film from for
Gotcha.
those 73 live footage to be
Right.
released in 76.
76. Yeah.
In fact, there's parts where missing parts of songs because it was just the film crew was just terrible. They didn't synchronize changing reels all the time, so there's clips were missing. So they actually had to go back
Mm,
to Shepperton Studios and
gotcha.
recreate the stage for the Madison Square Garden show, and
Okay.
have the guys, get the same clothes, have
Yeah.
everything in the same position, and film some shots and play it live.
Wow. No,
And to the
that's a
fact that
that's a big endeavor.
yeah, think about it. Yeah, and to recreate a whole stage, all the little things that are on the
Right.
stage, whether it's a
Right.
bottle there or something like that. But
Right.
also John Paul Jones, by 1975, cut his hair short, so he had to go
Yeah.
he had to get a wig and stuff.
Right.
So you could tell kind of what shots or at least I can. I figure you can tell some of the shots because you could just tell the way he looks, or just they have the mirrors in the back and some of the things like that to cause an effect. But yeah, I first saw the film, probably 1982-ish or something like that, in a
Right.
midnight
Right.
movie. And
Right.
that was, me and my buddy, we'd go every time they play that midnight movie, we'd go and we'd like focus in on a certain guy, Page. Well, we're gonna watch
Yeah.
Page and
Yeah.
everything done,
Yeah.
and this time we'll focus in on Bonham or whatever.
That's cool. I do
So
that listening too,
yeah,
focusing on different instruments or voice or
but those 73 shows are really, they're pretty decent performances. There are bootlegs of all three full shows. And the original soundtrack only had, barely had the 2.5 hour show they were doing. So with the 4 album box set, they included some of the other songs in the film.
yeah. Right.
And I think Celebration Day is the one that they didn't have film footage, but they had the audio for that one.
Gotcha. Yeah, Celebration Day. I tried to buy that album recently. Well, I started trying to buy it a couple of months ago, and they're all back ordered. They're
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
that
completely
album,
out
yeah,
of Celebration Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that
You can get it in CD, but you can't get it in vinyl.
yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with the CD, especially when
No.
you can get the DVD, and there's a
Right.
rehearsal DVD that comes with it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do, and I may or may not buy the vinyl later.
But this is the 4 album set I'm talking about. And you said you got that, but they gave you, somebody screwed up and
Well, no,
Hey,
it was
yeah,
it
I
was
have
it was
one
it
as
was
well.
it was yeah. Novice Nick has it. Mine was used,
oh, okay.
and I didn't
Somebody-
really understand what it was saying on the front cover when I bought it. And it was in a sports store where they sell jerseys and baseball caps.
Oh,
and
really?
stuff.
Okay.
It's about an 8-foot rack.
Was
of
it like
vinyl
a
in there.
like a collectible thing kind of?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this is the 4 album box set that was
yeah,
released.
yeah,
I want to say like 2016, maybe not.
yeah.
No, earlier than that.
Be-
I think. No, I.
between they went 2007 and through 2018. There was a few different releases.
Yeah, I want to
This is
say
in
2018 because I think
2007.
that sounds about right. 2018 because I know I did a video on unboxing on this and just showing
Okay,
it all.
okay.
You
This
could.
one's
That's on the channel.
2008 here.
Is it
Hey,
okay?
Yeah.
we've been
that's
joined
the
by
one I have
Randy.
here.
Been joined by Randy.
That's the
Deadwax
2008.
66.
So does that have like it looks like the same. Does that have Since I've Been Loving You on there and those extra cuts like Misty Mountain Hop that weren't in the
Yeah.
original
it's-
pressing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have just. They might have reissued it in 2018. I think it was all the same.
Well, let me do a couple of quick shout outs here. First of all, we've been joined by Zep Pearl Vance, my friend Zep Pearl, and he's got a great show. You've been doing some really cool stuff lately. I've been really enjoying everything you're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, going all the way back to that the contest entry you did on Led Zeppelin, right?
Oh,
And that
yeah.
that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So anyway, you guys all go check out Zep Pearl's channel. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable, and he'll make you laugh, and you'll
A
enjoy
new guy.
watching him. You will
Hey,
absolutely
Deadwax.
want to subscribe. And we were just joined by Deadwax 66,
the one and only.
Randy. Yeah, and Randy's got a good channel too. Go check Randy out. you want to subscribe. And of course, here's my nephew, Todd Madison. He's a great musician. He's always putting songs on YouTube that he plays every instrument on himself, and he does it's just amazing if you ask me.
Yeah.
The Japanese poster is great. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So good to see Randy here, Deadwax 66, and you too, Zepp. Good to see you here, Vance.
Yeah, you just called me.
I called you Zepp for so long. It's hard.
That's fine. People call me that too. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I get all kinds of little nicknames.
I do too.
Some are actually nice.
Most
right?
of them would shut the show down if I repeated them. Right?
Yeah, then we got that problem.
Jimmy Page's kinkier fantasies. Yeah, such a great. Oh, thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate hearing that.
Yeah.
You know, Caitlin Stoddard, her show is really starting to blow up now. She's got great topics. You know, she does music reviews. She's actually I believe, a photojournalist, and she gets sent by, different magazines and stuff to like review concerts.
It's real. It's real.
I wasn't.
And she's just doing a great job on her channel. And I think you've modified the name now because there was another Caitlin's Corner. It's Caitlin's Magical Corner now, and it's a lot of fun. They have a good time there. Instead of reenacting the concert for those shots, they could have cut to shots of the audience. Oh, that's true.
True enough.
Yeah, they don't really show any shots of the audience, do they? That's some other angle. Yeah, that's true, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I look at some of the footage and just some of it, and I'm like, what are these camera guys thinking? Yeah, it's just it's just weird. And back then, it seemed like really a big deal to like just zoom in on the guy's hand, or just it's like, well, give us a little more, give it at least both, or even like in the film Woodstock, it's like this real close up of Hendrix on his fingers for a long period of time. And
right.
Zoom back. I want to see what else
he
is
fell
going on.
asleep,
Yeah, it's like, okay, we got the zoom shot of his necklace, but
we get it.
Well, I thought Page's playing was excellent, in the film.
Yeah, I mean, those shows are pretty legendary. Those three, I mean, that was really. Some say maybe the peak. They were just the biggest band in the world.
They're at the pinnacle of their,
they're breaking Beatles records. They're bigger than Beatles and all the music polls and all that kind of stuff.
That's what I heard, Todd.
Yeah, Zepp, there's a question for you here from Todd Patterson, my nephew. If I say Greta Van Fleet, what is your reaction?
Good. I have their albums. I've seen them 3 times, I think. I have no problem with Greta Van Fleet.
Okay.
People want to say they're a clone. I'm like, well, geez, I wish more bands would go back to that 70s, straight up guitar, bass, drums kind of sound. And lay off with the computers and stuff.
What album should I start with Greta Van Fleet? Because I don't have any.
I don't have any either. I know Michael Nolan's really big on them.
Yeah,
so I've listened to a few songs.
Should be like right behind me somewhere here.
I've listened to a few of their songs on YouTube. But I've yet to buy any of their music.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I wasn't trying to be rude earlier, but LSU was playing Arkansas, and we just won with seconds left on the clock. So
look this one up.
Oh, nice.
What's it called?
Look this one up. It's called "From the Fires."
Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I
it has their 2 like popular songs when they broke. The song "Safari Song" and "Highway Tune." But and check them out. Yeah, sure. They even Plant said he praised them. He thought these these kids out of Michigan are doing it right. He says the kid sounds like a young me. So I don't have an issue with the whole,
no, I wouldn't either. I mean,
Zepp fans say they're a ripoff, and I go, well, what's wrong with that? I like that kind of sound.
I want to go to that concert.
I went, back in the 80s when Kingdom Come came out, and they thought "Get It Up" was a Led Zeppelin song or a new song or something like that.
Yeah,
I was all over it because I just liked that sound. that.
Right.
So I have no problem with that.
Totally.
And I'll tell you, I've seen them live, and they bring it, man. They put it out there, and their last couple albums have really kind of changed. They're growing and stuff, and their musicianship and their songwriting and everything. So I think I haven't gotten it yet, but I think there's the new album Starcatcher. It's been getting a lot of praise and stuff. So I maybe Michael probably went through that.
Yeah.
One,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he has or not. Michael probably would have joined us tonight, but his wife's in the hospital.
Yeah, I saw a short
Sorry
clip
Yeah,
to
I
hear
about
was
that.
really I was
Sure,
really
I'll
really
reach out to
sorry to hear that. Yeah. So anyway, look at Kaylin here, says she might be seeing GNR next month. Now that's are you going to get like hired to review them, Kate, or is that just something you personally want to do? And also I wanted to ask you, it's still the original lineup touring, right? Slash and Duff and
It's Slash, Duff, and Axel,
Axel.
but
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to have Steven Tyler. I
there's
Adler.
no Steven
Adler. Yeah.
Adler's obviously not
No,
in.
that would be Matt
Not even
Sorum.
Matt Sorum. No, he's not
Oh,
even
okay.
drumming.
Okay.
And then Gilby's not with them either. They got a different guitarist, I think. It's not Gilby
Right.
Clark.
Right.
So
And
Izzy.
we all know Izzy Stratton left a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I saw him at last
yeah.
shows.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I always actually liked Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, in fact, I saw them in end of August here in Chicago, Wrigley Field, and they said, I mean, there's parts where Axel is, I think, trying too hard to hit certain notes where he could probably
Yeah.
just stayed an octave down. But overall, I thought they sounded great, and I just,
Yeah.
I'd love to see Duff and Slash up there.
I do
So
too. Yeah. Yeah.
played
I
a bunch of a good 30 song. I don't know what it was. It was
yeah,
a long
I
set.
saw Slash in one of his past bands live. Let's see, what was it? Velvet Revolver.
Yeah, I never got to see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. That was when Stone Temple Pilots former frontman was doing the singing.
Right.
It was a good show. We were up pretty close too. I enjoyed that. Because
Yeah,
I always
you're not going to
loved
see that again. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I always loved Slash's guitar playing. I just love his tone that he gets.
Yeah.
Novice Nick, Kate wants to know who won the game.
Tigers won with 5 seconds left in the game. Field goal.
Kate is an amazing, knowledgeable sports fan.
Is she?
Oh yeah, no. She wanted me to do a sports show weekly, like with her one time, but I've just my sports is just my watching sports has declined so much. She goes, "Don't worry, I'll help you." I mean, it got to the point where I just couldn't sit all day Sunday and watch 3 football games, and then
Now, if
I like the highlight reels because I do love football and did play it in school.
See, now if I'm not up for going out in the 105-degree weather, not a lot going on, I'll put the game on and I'll put it. And I think I need to come up with a stick where I record, do something, and just what does I call it? Mute and music, where I mute the game and I'll just play music the whole game.
Oh, I've done that.
Oh,
Especially
well, yeah.
Yeah.
with sports games, where you don't really need the audio. So
I
you don't really
need
need the audio.
somebody to tell me what I just
what you're
witnessed,
watching,
right?
Yeah.
And he just caught the ball. No,
no,
not even that. When they get off on their tangents, I mean, there's a couple sports reporters I can't stand.
Yeah, for sure.
They start out at the beginning of the game. This player's not doing really good. I'm not really a fan. I don't know if they should cut him. By the end of the game, this guy's my favorite. I think he's been doing great all year. Dude, you just hour ago you just were trashing him, and now he's your best guy, right?
And and what does politics have to do with sports?
What does it have to do with everything?
Wait,
I don't know.
Yeah. Stop. Just stop. So I don't even listen to him anymore. Now maybe college ball, LSU, but outside.
Well, like I said, Royce, I keep me let him. I guess I'll have to go back and watch and see what your thoughts were on this film. But I'm curious to see what you thought.
Well, I'll tell you, I enjoyed watching it. I had fun. I had fun with the little fantasy segments that they dropped into Chief One. The opener, I thought the opener was great.
With Peter Grant is kind of showing.
It's kind of the Godfather-y. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. That was great. Yeah. But I enjoyed every one of those little segments. It was
a good tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
I thought that you were pretty much fitting with the with all the members and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was fun. I'll watch it again. In fact, I'll probably wind up at some point with the DVD. It was supposed to be available on a couple of different places that I went to, and it wasn't there for some reason.
I think I have 2 copies, but I have when it first came out on VHS too. I got the VHS copy of the big clamshell kind of box.
Real big ones. No, I still have a whole bunch of those. I was a huge
Yeah.
boxing fan and stuff. I got a bunch of Muhammad Ali fights and Thrilla in Manila and all 3 of the Frazier fights and just a bunch of stuff like that that I haven't looked at in years.
Yeah, I probably showed them in videos in the past, so you could dig those out. But yeah, if I prepped for the show, I would have had some stuff for you.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, we're actually coming up on
But
our
the other thing and I'll add this too, that outside of like, and I bought these things too, where I'd find like bootleg videos of stuff. But that really was for a long time was the only footage really that you could see them live because they didn't
yeah
do TV appearances, and if it
no
was, it's usually a clip from that film.
Yeah.
So
right. There
going
wasn't a
to
lot of stuff like that.
no, they didn't do TV
Just
appearances,
a lot
and
of
even
grainy pictures. What was
yeah,
available?
like the
Grainy,
Denmark was
yeah,
now on YouTube. You can see them all; they're crystal clear and all that kind of stuff.
right,
But back, even when I first saw it in '82 at a midnight movie, that was the first
yeah.
time I was seeing them actually play and move on what it was like on stage, kind of thing.
Okay,
So that was huge,
Yeah.
right.
And then I was just really getting into them hardcore. By '82 was a good 2 years. They were one of my favorites,
Yeah,
obviously my favorite. And to see that was a big deal for me.
right.
You know,
Yeah, no,
so that aspect,
I really regret I never saw him. Big
yeah, I
regret.
was just too young. And by 1980, I was just started going to concerts, and I do have the tickets from the canceled Chicago shows here in a
Hmm.
frame, like next to me, if you want to see that. But
Wow.
I just missed. My uncle saw him a few times in the
Yeah,
'70s.
let's have a look at those concert tickets.
This is yeah, it's right here. This is from the canceled 1980 shows in Chicago, and you can find these online, but they're getting expensive. But
No, really.
Nice.
it's framed. I don't know if it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But
What
these
what
are
what is it, what does it say the price of the tickets was?
these are from the Chicago Stadium, and they're coming in at $15. So this is
Okay.
3 of the 4
$15. I
nights.
love it.
November 10th, 12th, 13th, and 15th, 1980 Chicago Stadium. So
Y-
it came on this when they
y-
tore down the Chicago Stadium. They did this kind of little
Yeah,
release thing. So
right. That's so cool. You got to pay twice that to see a tribute band now.
yeah, I mean, I got tickets for the 12.50.
I remember when concert tickets were half that price.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh
that's
man.
expensive for 1980 too, because like I say, I was
Well,
seeing
yeah.
my first
I
show.
mean,
I think it was 12.50 for Journey. So
yeah, I mean, I saw Black Sabbath twice. Once in I think it was 72 at the Las Vegas Convention Center, or 71 maybe,
yeah.
and then again at the California Jam at the Ontario Speedway in 73, 3, 4. Yeah. Anyway, and it didn't cost anything. It's like, it's like
Yeah.
cost the price of a lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, the weed costs more than the tickets.
And now you can't even get a nice burger for $15.
Oh yeah, you're struggling.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Some of these things.
Got to look for the 2-for-1
Look,
specials. Or
I'm
something.
in that business, Vance. You're preaching.
Yeah,
Food-
right. I
food
worked in the
costs
restaurant and
crazy.
food business for years, and so
Well, I still do it.
I know you do, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So
crazy.
Well, guys, I want to thank you guys, Novice Nick and Zep Pearl Vance. Really appreciate you guys joining me and helping me out. We're past our kind of the hour limit we've been giving ourselves lately, trying to hold them down a little bit. It seems like it's hard to find anybody that wants to watch 3-hour shows. And but anyway, it is what it is. So thank you guys a lot, and I want to thank everybody that came and watched us live on the chat. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and we're going to call it a night, and we'll be having more shows coming up and some more midweek pre-recordeds that still have a live chat though, which is always fun. I enjoy it. And that's what's going on in Royce's world today.
thanks
you
for
guys
letting me
so
jump in
much.
last minute.
Oh,
There.
absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Good to see you,
Thank
Nick.
you. God bless. See you later.